What is up, Whale family? This is Nytmare bringing you Hangtime, where we talk NBA Top Shot, the market, fantasy basketball, and all things hoops and hype. And I am definitely getting hyped for the start of the NBA season, October 19th, about 3 weeks away. So we had the NBA Media Day kicking off today with a lot of our favorite players and teams finally making, more of a forefront effort to get in front of the fans and the media, let everybody know what they've been up to and the kind of condition they are in, and I am excited about my Celtics heading into this year. And of course, this also sets off the hype cycle relative to NBA Top Shot. So I expect things should pick up. And we will definitely see the market reflect that, as well as things that Top Shot will definitely be doing to coincide with that. Unfortunately, that also means that all of my friends have hit me up and said, hey, we're starting our men's leagues once again. Let's get down to the YMCA. And I am not doing that. So sadly, I'm just out in my driveway doing my best impression of someone trying to try to be athletic. Unfortunately, I have far too many tacos in my system right now to be able to do that. Now, what does that mean for NBA Top Shot and the market itself? Well, it looks like we've sustained a decent market cap. Actually, we've grown a bit since the past week when we got together and talked. And this is despite the greater crypto market having some yin-yang moves and really taking people out of pocket. I know some leverage traders that are definitely got scared off over the past week, right, with what they were doing, and some had to get liquid quick to cover things. We didn't see much of that relative to NBA Top Shot and what was going on in the market. For the past week, from a movement perspective, it's been fairly flat, right? Not a lot of movement when it comes to the market cap. If you look at the past month, similar, right? It looks like maybe a slight decline has happened, but all things being relative, this is where we were in August. So at this very, very extreme low for us relative to where NBA Top Shot's been over the past 6 months or so, we significantly ramped up and we've been hanging out there. So always, back up and look at the macro perspective with regards to these things when trying to kind of evaluate where you are with regards to this greater market or any market really, right? NFTs, crypto, etc. The transaction volume remained elevated as we headed into the WNBA run it back drop. But then certainly we saw that fall off, right? So people were looking to have moments. There was some multipliers that are involved there. We'll talk about that more when we talk about the run it back drop, but still not at the all-time lows that we had seen, and it was a gradual decline. So didn't just totally fall off. And really, we're looking at 3 weeks until another catalyst happens, which is the NBA season. Relative to the actual sales volume, this is indicative of what had happened as well, leading into the drop and then afterwards. So a slight lull right now, but short-lived, I'm sure. When we look at the base sets, flat, right? So the base set valuation has been flat. We're still holding on to this, elevated levels versus where we were in August, like we had mentioned. Another step iteration up, just a slight uptick, but continuing to get a few new users. I think this is maybe representative of a couple thousand over the past week, right? So I'd much rather see that than what we had seen here in that July-August time period where we had hit our local lows. For the whale vault itself, the whale vault is pretty much where we looked at it last week, right? We were at about 36 million. We still are at about 36 million. Minor fluctuations there. Evaluate market pegs us at 43.5 million. That's consistent with where we were at about a week ago. So again, not much movement from the total market cap and total value perspective, which is good considering crypto did have some volatile days. And I think we were in the midst of a precipitous drop when we last talked, and we were wondering what would happen, and really nothing, right? It really didn't have an effect, and that's great to see that there's some maturation coming in with this market. Of course, I always look at these two particular moments to benchmark because they're the moments I should have scooped when I was telling you guys to. And this Halliburton remains around this 350 to 400 level, and so does the Jokic, right? So $133. I think last week it was 128. So these are maintaining as well. Just confluence, multiple things that I look at to give me a read on the market. Not the most scientific approach, but sometimes I just want to have various things to help me get confidence, whether it be going in and I'm going to scoop a player because I think it might escalate even more if I wait until the season starts, or whatever the reason. So let's talk a little bit about the past week. Trade tickets were something that we talked about in depth last week, and the actual stress test for it got delayed. So that got pushed off into maybe this week, maybe another week, but there were some things that were hangups there. The locker room, which is the account where people had traded in moments for tickets, pretty much consistent with its value last week. I think it was at like 475. So it gained a little bit of value here, almost $500,000. There's a legendary in there now. So someone tossed a legendary. I think I had heard that the person that put the MGLE or whatever it was did it for some press, right? They were doing some good things, and they did it intentionally. I don't know the story behind this legendary, but obviously interesting to see that in there. And then I think I may have misspoke when we last talked about possibly seeing some of these, higher value or higher tier moments in packs that we get back from the trade ticket stress test or whatever would happen. But because of loot box rules and some of the nuances there, they can't really do that. So they'll have to find another mechanism to get some of these, high value, high tier moments out and have the public have an opportunity to score them. But the other big thing from the past week, we had the Run It Back WNBA Run It Back drop on Friday. $79 a pack. They were, I think, 15,000 packs. These were $879 limited editions with 2 queues that you could have hopped into. The first one, you needed a 4,000 collector score. The second one, only a 100 collector score. And that second queue ended up getting delayed about 3 hours, which was fortunate for me. It allowed me to hop in, and I got nowhere near the queue, so I was not able to get into that, whatever it was, 7,000 or 8,000 that was set aside for the standard queue. But I do know that there were some members of our community that were able to score packs, and some of them are pack hoarders, right? So they're not even opening them. So hopefully one day maybe we'll get them to come on and rip. But if not, I think the goal is to hold out for some possible resale down the road when they introduce mechanisms where you can sell packs on the marketplace, unopened packs. But interestingly, leading into this, the WNBA moments, if you were holding some of them, received a 10x collector score bonus. So people that were already actively collecting WNBA moments from the recent drops over the past couple of weeks got a nice bonus there, and there was no marketplace activity bonus, right? Instead, it was because of your fandom for the WNBA. So that was cool. I like to see all these different iterations that they do of bonuses to allow more people to qualify. And hopefully we see more of that in the future going forward. And of course, the prized jewel of this was this Lisa Leslie dunk, right? Iconic moment for the WNBA. This is like the LeBron legendary from this set. Of course, quite possibly they could release legendaries down the road, right? This is just a run it back. But super dope moment. I was tempted to hop in when it was around 1100. I did not. I may still keep my eye on this. I think this is a cool moment to have. In other news over the past week, before I get to this funding injection that Dapper Lab had, I also would like to mention that they did have another stress test on Thursday, possibly to work out some of the kinks that they had identified when they were leading up to what was supposed to be the stress test for the tickets, the trade tickets. That was on Thursday. You only need a 100 collector score to hop in, and it was just for some base set Series 2 packs. I did try to go in that, did not get a spot in the queue close enough to score one of the packs. But interestingly, I saw a lot of noise on Twitter where people had issues with their score qualifying correctly. So obviously they're working out the kinks. Glad to see they're doing that before they roll out something bigger. And relative to this, Roham went on to announce 2 big things, right? A partnership with La Liga. I know we have a lot of football fans, international football fans in our community. They've actually asked, hey, when are they going to do a fantasy gamification within the whale community for soccer or for football? hey, maybe that's on the way, right? We'll take a look at that after we get to this round of football, possibly American football, that is. But in addition to that partnership, which is huge, and they go on to talk about it here, as well as what that means for their valuation and their funding injection, right? So another nice injection of funding for the Flow blockchain and for what Dapper Labs does. If you're interested in La Liga, you can sign up here to be notified when that becomes available. But yeah, so awesome to see that they're continuing to flesh out their partnerships as well as the marketplace confidence, and that bodes well for the future of NBA Top Shot. If you are investing and looking to make moves relative to, hey, this is a long-term hold for me, I think this would be significant down the line, you can do so with more and more confidence, knowing this is one of the blockchains that's likely here to stay. Because I know there's a lot of discussion when people see things on some alternative chains like, hey, yeah, that's great, but without interoperability to ETH, I'm kind of hesitant to wade in too far into those waters. So with Flow, obviously, it's a different scenario, and we should feel pretty confident in what they put out for products on that chain. On a related note, I did get an invite for Dr. Seuss finally. So didn't have the opportunity to actually set it up and do anything with it, but the invites do continue to roll out. Now it's rolled out to little old me. So I will have a gander at that and just take a look at how the app works and exactly how they're gamifying that and the mechanisms there. I do know that some people were saying it was dangerously addictive, and that also that the drops were insta selling out and they had to try to get in quickly. So haven't experienced it myself, but will very soon. One other thing I did want to make mention is we talked last week about the DAO proposals that were being put forth relative to NBA Top Shot. So we had the one about the community being able to harness the collector score of the whale vault, which is gargantuan, right? Like, what is our collector score actually? Let's take a look. 2.3 million collector score. So obviously a lot of opportunity there. That DAO proposal went through. There was another one for, I believe, acquiring the Cool Cats collection, which is still up for some discussion, right? It hasn't moved forward beyond that. But I am happy to say Whale Shark gave us note today that he has regained access. We were locked out for some time. We have regained access to the whale vault. All things are squared away now, so we should be able to do some actionable things like we had talked about with the committee, giving a heads up, us putting some tasks to Whale Shark and him qualifying us for some various things that are going to be coming up for the community, whether that be drops or exclusive access to events, etc. So we'll be able to leverage that in the near future. And on another note, the day is going to stay consistent, but the time for this segment for Hangtime, I think I am leaning towards permanently moving to the end of the day. By end of the day, I mean now. There's been a lot of times where we've had to reschedule off of 2 p.m. and move it to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think I may make that a permanent change. We can have a little bit more discussion on that in the Top Shot room, but it just seems to be something that works out a bit better for the scheduling here. If you guys are on board, we'll do that. If there's some major objections, maybe we'll put it to a vote. Then we will keep it where it is and do our best. But with that, I do want to move forward with some of the things you guys had proposed, which would be a possible name change since we go beyond Top Shot often. I'm going to fire up some graphics so we can get some decent branding around what we do as a group and all the cool stuff that we represent, because we've certainly taken on our own cultural identity within the whale community, which is super cool to see. We have our own memes, we have our own emoji, for goodness sake, with our good friend Joe Boo, right? And I'm sure that will continue. So it may warrant us personifying it even more. And of course, I'm gonna have to get a dope song to intro the segments and the shows with. So we'll work on that. We'll put that up to some votes and to some suggestions within the community channel. One other thing, speaking of the community channel, we had some people that were very interested and participated in the Tiger Woods drop that he had over the past week. I think some people got in at the base level for like $12 and were able to score some that are now going for in excess of $100. I don't know what it is at its latest valuation, but I did see 120 floating about at some point, right? And so he's actually releasing wave 2 of his NFTs on the 28th. The first tier goes on sale at 3 p.m. So just wanted to call that to you guys' attention. Another opportunity for people that may have missed the first one and want to get in, or people that did get in the first one and want to flesh out their collection even more. So again, wave 2 of Tiger Woods' drop on autograph happens on the 28th. And on another related note, with so much advocacy for apes and gorillas and monkeys and that whole vibe within our Top Shot community, I kind of got sucked into something I saw the other night that appealed to my comic book, video game, 8-bit senses over here. So I jumped into Galactic Apes, which seemed cool to me. It had a connection to Distopunks as well as CryptoCons and some gamification of it, right? I think you get one of each species and you send them out on missions to get NFTs. I really don't know all of the details on it, so this is not financial advice by any means. Just saying, you guys have put this in front of me so often that I thought it was cool and I had to jump in when I seen these guys. So even just the splash page here is pretty dope. I would take that just as an NFT. So one of you guys finally, I don't know if I'll make it my avatar just yet, but I'm definitely waiting down the apes and the Kongs and the gorilla way. Now, relative to aping, I like to say congratulations to our winners of our prop bets over the past week. Thursday night's winner, Music 247365, and Sunday night's prop bet winner, Music 247365 again, which makes it 3 times, I think, within the last 7 to 10 days that this person has come through and demolished all of us on the prop bets. So we may have to disqualify them soon or find a way to spy on them. I'm not exactly sure what we need to do. Handicap, but Music is just dominating in the brief time that they've been involved in this. So props to you, Music. Crypto Right has thrown out a challenge. If anyone can get more wrong than him this evening or something of that nature, right? If you can miss more airdrops than him, he's betting one whale. So take him up on that. Have some discussion within the community. Crypto Right, always one for a good wager and camaraderie within the community. And our Pikm Contest for this week is a logjam up near the top. Zerm with 120 points, but below that, it is just a battle all the way down to here. A lot of familiar faces, some of our committee members, some of our most ardent supporters and people that are very vocal, and then some people stealthily sneaking in here, right? So HF 1998, I don't know if you're an alt, I don't know if you're Music 247365 with another account, but we have our eyes on you. Anyway, we will see what comes out of this logjam. I have no opportunity to possibly get up here, but I figured, hey, if I stretch this screen capture down this far, I can get my name in there. So there it is. It's the little things that can make me happy on a Monday afternoon. So with that, pretty much covered what is on my agenda right now with regards to Top Shot and what's going on. Oh, one other thing. There was a showcase challenge of sorts, and it made some valuations of moments that I hold. Have an increased value for a short period. Didn't change my objective with those. Holding, possibly for gamification, if we can get something going for the upcoming NBA season. I know there's been questions whether or not we'll be able to resume Swish. It looks like right now that's not likely to happen, although I continue to have some discussions with the powers that be, and maybe there's an opportunity to get something going on a bit different scale. So we will see. But if that is the case, I certainly want us to do something with the NBA. So there may be an opportunity to do something a bit more manual. I'd love to do something that would incorporate traditional fantasy and us being able to create showcases and log our players that way. If that would be the last resort, we'll see, but we will do something for the NBA season. And with that, I'm just going to take a peek at the chat, see what you guys are busting chops about, what you guys have on your radars for the upcoming week or the one that just went by. Classy J mentioned that the Galactic Apes are past 1 ETH already. They are. They were supposed to have a stealth mint, supposedly, right? Just people that were aware and within their community, and the word got out and the volume went crazy. Um, I think post mint it was zero point 0.4 or 0.35 for quite some time, and then as the reveal approached of the apes last night, things started to really escalate. But prior to that, kind of floated between zero point 0.4 and zero point 0.6 for a long time. Some people saying that the whale account should have been going for that WNBA pack, possibly, or possibly should be scooping up that Lisa Leslie dunk, right? That could be something that we would advocate for, maybe with the DAO. And I think I mentioned that Ikaitsa, who heads our market analytics group, who helps them make valuations, recommendations to the team, also a lot of analysis for the greater community, is a Top Shot collector. So he's keyed in, and if what we say makes sense, he'd likely echo those sentiments to Whale Shark or whomever would have to make the final call on that type of stuff. Simple Pixel Life asks, will there be a UFC project? Yes, still in the works from what I hear. I don't know of any particular hangup, but again, it's not, there could be things going on behind the scenes that we're just not keen on right now, not aware of. Springle's asking if he's an ardent supporter. An ardent supporter of whom is the question. Of course you are, Springles. I think someone's mentioning the UFC going to be huge. I think the UFC should be interesting in that the league itself doesn't really hold a lot of power, I think, relative to um, carrying the NFTs. I think the fighter's performance does, and it's such recency bias in the fight game, right? So it'd be interesting to see. But I think some kind of legacy collections there would blow sales volume out of the water. You know, current fighters, I'm sure there'd be interest and there'd be a lot of speculative people hopping in because of the success of NBA Top Shot. But you put out a pack with Iceman, you have Shogun. I mean, they could even tap the Pride archives for moments from Japan if they're going to do moments. That would be nuts. A Tank Abbott, Johnny Bones Jones. Funny story. I actually trained with Johnny up in where were we? Um, Upstate New York somewhere. His team, it was kind of near Schenectady. His team's called the Bomb Squad, and the people I were training with went up there, and we kind of had a co-training session. He was wicked young, making lots of fart jokes and stuff. It's funny, dude. George St. Pierre, that would be another great one as well. Yeah, I think we're all eagerly anticipating the UFC product when it comes out. It'll have more of an international audience, perhaps, right? If they include some of the Pride fighters, it's it's a lot to trying to wrap your head around exactly how the appeal and marketing will work, especially depending how it's gamified. All right, guys. Someone asked if I rolled with Johnny. Um, you know what? I'm gonna pass on that. Either out of not wanting to embarrass myself or embarrassing him. But someone actually mentioned, hey, they would have if they touched Nightmare's tacos, which is true. That's part of why I am not in basketball shape at the moment. I've been on a steady diet of burrito tacos with consomme and Nashville hot chicken sandwiches. All right, guys, we're going down the rabbit hole now. I think we'll continue this discussion within our community rooms. Once again, if you did not get in your picks for tonight's prop bets, get them in. You can find them in the pinned messages in the Top Shot community channel on the left hand side of your Discord. If you're watching this on Twitch and you're not on Discord, hop on over to the Whale community. You can find the links on all of our socials. Great group. We love to talk sports, collectibles, as well as the greater NFT market and lots of other things. So come join us, but be ready for this particular sub community for some trash talk. All right, you guys have a great week collecting, score some Tiger Woods, and I will catch you on the next episode.